and Magicka Warden is killing people. What? In this video, I'm going to show you just how, and it's not using Oakensoul. Hey guys, it's Dan, and welcome back to Unified Gaming. So, I've gone and done it. I've made a Magicka Warden build, finally, that is actually able to kill people without abusing things like Oakensoul, or Oakenchad as people are calling it, and is honestly really accessible, easy to set up, but highly, highly effective. It still has the issues with the Warden woes of, you don't have the execute, you don't really have a great burst deal, but I've been able to try and overcome most of those issues with just set combinations and stuff and skills, so do stick for the whole video and pay close attention. As with this one, I'm going to go through the skills, as I've said, the sets, the CP, everything you need to know to make this. But if you do get questions, let me know in the comments below. And if you like what I do here and want to see future content, then make sure that you are subscribed so you don't miss out. And a huge thank you to all the people on Patreon who help make these videos possible. And a massive shout out to everybody who's helped me on PCNA, that is on PCNA, because it's really meant a lot to just be able to make stuff there. But what are we doing in this build? Well, in this build, we actually are a Breton. Breton is Magicka, cost reduction, and Magicka recovery. It is a really good build. It does give us lots of defense and lots of sustain. You can be an Argonian, you can be a high elf, a dark elf, just change glyphs, it will work. As with the stats, 48 in Magicka, 16 in health, nothing special there. If we do this correctly, we will get our health up to just over 30,000. We would also get our spell damage to a good 5,200 at all times, pretty much. And our penetration is at 13,000 when we attack somebody, so good pen as well. We have 27,000 Magicka, 30,000 health, 18,000 stamina, and our recoveries are on 1,500 Magicka recovery, and it goes to 1,800 when we fully buff. So really high with no potions is even higher. Plus we have some extra glyphs which gives it even more sustain. As you can kind of tell already, this build is basically having everything you need. Damage, defense, sustain, penetration. It's really rounded. It's kind of building a good core set of stats to give Warden the best chance to stay in the fight as long as it can, to then get those kills that it needs to get. As with our Mundus, we are using the Atronach Mundus. This gives us recovery, and if you are not a recovery race, so say you're a high elf or a dark elf, you definitely need this. To help fix some of the weaknesses with defense that Warden does lack because of the changes to healing, you do need to be a vampire and you need to be stage 3. This will give you access to Undeath that reduces all damage taken by up to 30% on your missing health. And I do get asked quite often, what if you fight DKs? You take more vampire, like fire damage from them because you're a vampire. If you are fighting a DK, they do 13% more damage to you at all the time. Undeath, 30% damage reduction, so at 50% health it's 15%, which means when you're below 50% health, the Undeath passive is actually worth more than the damage taken from the vampire, being a vampire in regards to fire. So actually, when you're fighting DKs, yes, you'll take slightly more when you're above 50% health, but when you're below 50% health, when you're in execute range, the Undeath actually just is better than not being a vampire, and you get all the bonus reduction to all the other types of damage as well. So it's really, really worth it. The only trade-off is your sustain is kind of affected because your skills do cost more. So you will need to go and have a good amount of recovery if you want to play as a vampire. As with kind of just consumables, I use sugar skulls. You need health, magicka, and stamina on a Warden. You need all of these because you're in melee combat quite often as a Warden because of just the skills that you have. If you want more sustain, you can use citrus fillet, which is good. It's expensive. I prefer sugar skulls. It's just consistent. It's pretty cheap in the grand scheme of things. As for potions, you generally want essence for movability. You want CC immunity, health, and stamina, or magicka, depending on which one you have. So there's a few versions of these. And the idea is that this will give you CC immunity so you can do your combo. If you don't have these, Tri-Stat potions are really good and they kind of cover all bases, so really, really worth having too. But having a mix of essence of movability, if you can get magic on it, great. If you can get stamina, it's fine, it will work. But it's just better to have that CC immunity for something, because if you get stunned, you can't get your combos off, you can't kill people. As with the skills and what we're doing, The skills are quite unconventional in all honesty, so just do sort of take them with a pinch of salt. But skill wise, we have Cliff Racer, 9,800 damage. It does bonus damage at range, and it sets them off balance, which is our stun. So we're using Cliff Racer as a stun. And the way this works is we cast this and then we do a medium attack shortly after, which Cliff Racer lands, medium attack lands, they are now stunned, they're on the floor, we can land our combo quite easily. We also have Deep Fissure with a 15,000 tooltip. Ice Frost Reach. Frost Reach is a really interesting skill because it gives us lots of bonus damage. It's a 9,400 hit with a 10,000 dot. And our Fletcher Infection is also really tasty. That has a 15,000 dot and it does up to 50% more on the second cast and applies Mana Vulnerability. We are then using, for the ultimate, Soul Strike, and this is 63,000. With Soul Assault it's 90,000 plus, so this is really good, and it is our execute that we lack otherwise. To help pay for this, because it's quite an expensive ultimate, we are using Shimmering Shield, which gives us really just good defense from range attacks like Magicka Nightblade, Magicka Sorcerer, and it gives us Major Heroism, which is always up, so a really good skill to have. As for the back bar, we are on the back bar using pretty standard skills. We have Blessing of Restoration, 11,000 heal, Radiating Regen, almost 20,000, and then we've got Green Lotus, which is like 1,500 to 1,800 every light attack, and we also get sort of 4.5, 5k heals when we heavy attack. We are then using Ice Torches for the armor, and Blue Betty for more sustain and our damage buff. Plus, it's a mini purge if we spam cast this, so really good. Ultimate wise, you can use the Restoration ult, Panacea, and morph it to Life Giver, or you can use Secluded Grove and morph this to Healing Thicket. For the front bar, if you don't have Soul Strike or you don't want to use it, you can go and use Dawnbreaker of Smiting. When you use your Dawnbreaker, it does hit really hard. So you're looking about a 17k initial hit with an 18k dot, so this is really good. And you can also use the Vampire Ultimate if you wish. Again, really expensive. Or you could go to your Mage Guild and use Meteor if you wish too. So those are the offensive options. The other skills actually stay as they are because there's nothing better than this combo that I found. Your spammable has a dot on it, which is Frost Reach. You have another dot with Fletcher Infection. You have a dot with an off balance, which is your stun. And you have your burst skill, which also gives you Breach too. Why does this actually work? Well, basically, Fissure is our penetration, Frost Reach is a spammable with a dot on it, and we have Fletcher Infection, which is a dot too. Which means when we do this combo, we get 2 dots on them, which are really nasty. We have the penetration to make them hit harder, plus the Minor Vulnerability, and the off balance, which helps us to then do a medium attack stun to then land a follow-up Frost Reach on them with a roll dodge cancel. Or we can use the ultimate if it's ready. So this is a really good way to burst people with Deep Fissure, Fletcher Infection, Frost Reach, Cliff Racer, medium attack, another spammable, and most of this lands together. So you'll see in the gameplay in the background, really, really effective. And the back bar, Blessing of Restoration, is the best burst heal we have access to. As with the champion points, for the blue ones, it is Master at Arms, Bite and Aura, Ironclad, Duelist Rebuff. For the red ones, I am using Slippery, Pain's Refuge, Survival Instincts and Celerity, and the green ones, War Mount, Gifted Rider, Steed's Blessing, and One Up to You. As for the sets and what I'm doing, I've said there's no Oakensoul on this, and there's kind of one real version for this build that you need, and that is the Master's Ice Staff. Without this, it's not going to work. This is required because it gives us bonus damage when we use our Ice Spammable, it makes it cheaper, and it's just really, really worth getting. You can get this from normal Dragonstar Arena. I did this on Veteran before they changed it, and it's just, that's still annoying. But yeah, so you do need this. I then pair this with Wretched Vitality in the back bar, one of the best sustain sets in the game. I then use Balorg for even more damage with that ultimate. And I pair all of this with Torog's Pact. As for the loadout, it is Ice Staff front bar, Restoration Staff back bar, and the Ice Staff is infused Absorb Magicka for more sustain. We then have Defending on the back bar. We then have Heavy Balorg on the head, heavy chest Torx Pat, light Balorg shoulders, light Wretched Vitality waist, light Wretched Vitality gloves, medium Torx Pat legs, light Wretched Vitality feet. We have 4 well fitted and 3 in pen, or the other way around, you can pick. And I use 3 pieces of jewellery, all infused with spell damage. These are Torx Pat, and if you can't afford purple, you can go with white, as that 5-piece bonus is just a static one that does not change with item quality, so this will work at white quality as well. You might be thinking, what if I don't have, I don't want to use 2 crafted sets? Well, you can swap Wretched Vitality for Shroud of the Lich, and this will work relatively okay. But that is the best setup that I found, guys. It's the most versatile, with good damage, good sustain, fully buffed. We have like 25,000 penetration, we have like 6,500 spell damage, 30k magic, almost 30k health, you know, 1800 recovery plus the 600 from the glyph, so like 2,400 at almost all times. It is versatile, it's effective, it is able to kill people. So it is a proper warden. It plays like a warden like back in the day. It still has the warden problems though. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave it there. So I really enjoyed this build. I highly recommend trying it. And I just want to say huge thanks to everybody who has subscribed to the channel already. And a bigger thank you to all the people on Patreon who help make these videos possible. And just a big shout out to anybody on PCNA that's helped support me. They've given me gold or resources. You know, it's Unified-Game, so it's at Unified-Gaming on PCNA, where I'm trying to set up over there. So if you want to support myself there, you can, or on Patreon. You know, those things really, really help. But as I said, I'm going to catch you in the next video. So thanks for watching, guys. Take care, and bye.